I tell you a story. The first time I was ever in a classroom of young people was in 1994, and I was an actor working in a community. I had contacted the school superintendent and said, "How can I help?" And he said, "What can you do?" And I said, "I can help people tell stories." And he said, "Please come and help some of my kids." So he invited me to work with some sixth graders. And these sixth graders were the kids that tended to get in trouble, the kids that tended to be a little late in their assignments if they did them at all, the kids that seemed to get lost in the gaps of a culture. So I did something pretty cool. I walked in and I said, "Hi, I'm an actor. How can I help?" And they, of course, went, because nobody wants to be helped by an actor. Actually, everybody wants to be helped. Nobody's used to thinking that telling your own story can help yourself. Talk to anybody. So I spent 6 weeks with these kids talking about the uber bad boy named Hamlet. And at the end of that time, talking about another kid who was an outsider. I helped these kids create a story about themselves that they got to tell through Hamlet's story. The story began, "If I were Hamlet, I would." And one of the biggest events that happened was that the smallest kid in the class, the kid that was always the most bullied, the kid that was always the most quiet because he was the most afraid to step forward, wrote this poem about peace. And what he had heard, if he were Hamlet, that story allowed him to talk about what he would do had he been Hamlet, and that would be build some peace. This kid got to tell that story, that poem, in front of about 500 people. And at the end of that experience, I said, "So how do you feel?" And he said, "Miss Susan, I feel rich." That's the story that sits at the heart of everything I do. That's the story of how becoming a storyteller can help you feel rich.